Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you don't know me, my name is Makeba Williams. And if you've been following me, I'm pretty sure you've heard me say on several different occasions that I will be officially launching, and that is true. However, there has been delays. Life happens, things happen. And it's not a negative delay. I'm still working on other things, but, behind the scenes, it's just so many things have changed within the last 90 days, like majorly. But once I launch, so I'll give you a little bit. Once I launch, I will be doing my 5 a.m. morning routine, which would consist of the Ultra Millionaire mindset, consciousness and subconsciousness inner work, metamorphosis and life assignment. And then in terms of the vlogs, I will be weekly having the Makeba Move Inspired Painting Series, of course inspired by the wonderful Tyler Perry, as well as health and wellness. I'll be doing that. Plant-based lifestyle, living abundant, hobbies, philanthropy work, and travel. That's the essence of its entirety. But tonight, I want to do something a little different. I want to be vulnerable and talk about, with integrity and respect, and this is coming from a place of love. I want to kind of share my experience and thoughts on when family, friends, or whomever, when they either stop believing in you or just never believed in you. Like, for some reason, it's just been heavily on my heart in the last 90 days. And let me go back a little bit with the backstory. I am no longer in the commercial cleaning industry. I had been praying about it for years to step down. And I actually started my commercial cleaning business to create jobs. That was the intent, the essence of it. So I just want to let you know that. So I'm in a space right now that I can actually do whatever I want. And I really have to, lean into God more than ever. And not only that, I have to just trust myself. But there are things that I need to either totally change or just remove from me. And the last 90 days, what's really been on my heart, my mind, and spirit is when family, friends, or whomever that significant person is or people, when they stop believing in you or they never have believed in you. And why I want to bring this up is because prior to December, I had so many, and I want to say this, like I say, out of love, but prior to December of 2024, I had gone through some things. I'm like an onion. You have to really, really peel me. You just really get to know me for me to open up. I don't spend a lot of time on complaining, and I try to find odd places to express myself creatively without offending or without me just being just so open, because I feel you're also supposed to protect your emotions and feelings. But prior to December 2024, I had a plan. And it's funny because when you have a plan, when you have a plan and it's not aligned, it's like a joke. It's like, okay. But the last 90 days, it's really been interesting. Life has really been interesting to me because I'm learning when people say they want to become a millionaire, do they really want that? And then when you express to others you desire to become a millionaire, do they really believe and support you? Are you all really, really having that true feelings and vision together? Is it aligned? And right now I'm really talking about people that you truly know. I'm not talking about random strangers or people that you may briefly meet. I'm talking about people that really have connected with you. And that would be, of course, identified as like your family, your friends. Like when you are at that crossroads, at that breaking point, or you're about to pivot, or something happens in the outliers and it requires you to really hold tight to your faith, like the size of a mustard seed, or it's like you're like, okay, I need to I think I need to get some help on something, or you feel like, okay, this something's good about to happen. Now, you're at that elevated level. You about to pivot. You about to quantum leap. You get about to catapult. You about to go higher. You just know it, right? Something may happen to curve that, may attempt to delay it, or even cease and or stop it. But when you know without a shadow of a doubt, when you know, like, you sleep it, you eat it, you drink it, you breathe it, you pray it, I mean, you just know, and you refuse to give up. But everything is falling around you. There is chaos, and there's just it's just so much trying to hold you, just keep you just stagnant, and you like, okay, you go to the right, you get a no, or you get a I'm not interested, or that's not what I want to do. You go to the front of you, and you get the same results, the left side and the back, and you like, okay, well, what is this? When you're doing something good. And the last 90 days for me, I have learned so much. The last 90 days, at my age, I've learned a lot of things, right? A lot of good things. I've experienced wonderful things. But the last 90 days has really been different for me. It's like, okay, so let's talk about when people stop believing in you or never have. So to give you some of the backstory, because I plan on telling my story one day, I have always been the person to come up with an idea. I'm a visionary. Like I'm really good at vision. And I never wanted to leave anyone behind. I've always been we, all of us. I've never been a me or I type of woman. In the last 10 years, I've really accelerated this we. I started Social Work Wealth, and that was to teach social workers how to create wealth and not become a part of the system and not feel you're overworked and underpaid. I started that back in 2016. Now, I agree. I got a lot of pushback because I was talking about social workers making wealth. But I wasn't talking about changing the system. I was saying not only you can continue in the system, but you can create alternative ways to create your wealth. Then I pivot to Luxurious Wealth Online. So I wanted to take a company and make it a premium brand, or show you how to, if you like an individual, you don't have a business, show you how to become that premium brand. Then, okay, in the meantime, while all of this creativity was going on behind the scenes, a lot of people didn't know. And one of the reasons why they didn't know I had a commercial cleaning business is because I used to clean for the financial industry, okay, for banks. So it wasn't wise for me to be advertising. I had all these banks and I'm cleaning them, that, for safety protocol, but it's over. So I'm no longer linked to that, but I did it for many, many, many years. And while I was around all this knowledge and wealth, I always considered other people. If I saw somebody struggling, let me show you how to do this. If I saw opportunity, let me bring you in. I'll never forget my first business. I told my business partner, I'm going to give you 50% of my business. And that is abnormal. And I felt, you know why I wanted to give them 50%? Because they had been in the industry for over 10 years, 10, 15 years. So why wouldn't I offer that when I knew I was going to take my return on investment and start another business? So I was looking at it as, okay, Makeba, me, I'm just going to take my portion and I'm going to start this next business, because ultimately, anyway, I want to make a difference and become a full-time philanthropist. I've always been a giver, and it's like, as time progresses, reality happens. Reality happens. Life stressors knock at your door. I did not know me having this innocent and vulnerable vision to create jobs would result to people, I didn't get the total respect. I don't want to go into that direction, because as an entrepreneur, there's a time and a place to do that, because this video is about when people stop believing in you, or they never believed in you. But I will tell you this. I experienced a lot of verbal abuse as an up-and-coming entrepreneur when I first got started, like heavily. I was in an industry where it was dominated by men. Okay, so you got this girl, this woman approaching with pearls on, with the dresses. We're talking about commercial cleaning. So everybody wasn't welcomed. Everybody, wasn't willing to let me sit at the table. But I learned so much. But in the meantime, I never talked about the abuse I experienced. And you forgive and you move on and you say, okay, this is what it is. Now, let's be honest. I was new. I was young. I was vulnerable. And I just had this, I'm very tunnel vision. I just had this vision, I'm going to take this money and I'm going to start this business. And I'm going to take that money and I'm going to start this business. No one tells you when you begin to think like that. To some, it can be dangerous. It can be intimidating. It can be threatening. It can cause jealousy. I mean, things can trigger within others to make them actually say to you, what make you think you can do that? What make you think you can own that? What make you think you can experience that? Who gives you the right to have that opportunity? Let me tell you all, looking back at my entrepreneurship experience, and I'm pretty sure some people in my world that knew me, they probably can sit down and say exactly she went through that, because they know the truth. And it's like, now looking back at it, the most important thing that I learned that no one can take away is the fact that I have 15 years as a commercial cleaning business owner. We're talking about, I had contracts for billion-dollar companies. Nobody can take that experience away. But I did experience a lot of disappointment, a lot of pain, and a lot of cries, because I didn't have proper mentorship. I did not have a group of other entrepreneurs to course correct or to direct me and say, no, that's not how that go. See, I dealt with a lot of clients, but I didn't deal with a lot of entrepreneurs. So I was hid. And, every now and then I would get that fresher breath air and I would get, you're doing a good job. But then when you got other people in your face and they're telling you you're not good because of their inadequacy, or you did this wrong because they're not happy. Like I said at the beginning, I just had vision. And I'm going to fast forward and talk about vision towards the end of this. But vision be a beautiful thing, or it can be a hurtful thing, because and I'm not going to go too much into details, because like I said, I'm going to actually do a video on this or some other form of delivery so you all can understand. But this is not the time to really get into it. But the point that I'm trying to say When someone see you work hours and hours and hours, and I'm talking about family and friends. I'm not talking about people who don't really know you. I'm talking about people that knew you were up at 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning, getting up at 6 a.m. for years. When they see you put forth more than the effort, you go above and beyond. And when you communicate with them throughout the years, they see you catapulting. They see you quantum leaping. They see you aiming higher. They see all of this. They see your drive and your effort. They see you start another business. They see you start another business. They see all of this. They see your passion for it. And you begin to say, okay, now I started this. Now it's time for me to elevate. I want to take some people with me. I want these people because I see them on a 9-to-5 job. I see they want more. They may want this. They may want that. And when you finally get that divine download and you go to them and you say, hey, I got an opportunity for you. Now remember, I am the woman, the first business that I started. When I went to that board table, you get 50%. If I had to do it again, I would. Even with the verbal abuse, even with the trying to steal contracts behind my back, because that's who I am. Now, for me to think on that level, you know I'm going to even think more for my family and friends. So remember, this is not about exploitation. This is not about complaint. This is coming from a place of love, right? So you go to your family and you say, hey, you got a skill. Do you want to get in on this deal? I see your skill. Your skill can get you paid. Would you like to get in on this deal? Because this deal can increase your income, right? And what do you get? It sounds like a broken choir, like it's not in harmony. Well, hold on. Are you not the person when we get on the prayer line and say, God, increase my income? Are you not the person when during the holidays you say, I would like to have a little more? Are you not the person who visualize you want to have things? So, okay, I understand you saying no, but I want you to go inward, right? I want you to go within your gut and really ask yourself, who is approaching you? What kind of character do I have? What do I stand for? You know, what kind of education background? You know, what are my belief systems? Did you do any of that before you said no? But this is not where it breaks my heart. After going and pursuing, either let's collaborate together and we get a return on the investment. Okay, since you don't want to collab and get a return on investment, well, maybe I need to change my wording a little bit. Well, would you like to invest? Oh, you don't want to invest. I'm not good enough for that either. Okay, I get that. See, this goes on or have went on and off for a few years. And I'm going to say probably for the last 5, because I'm always coming up with beautiful ideas. Now, the problem over the last 90 days, something woke up in me so strong. It woke me up and I was restless. And I said to myself, now we're looking at my character. We're looking at who I am in the family. We're looking at a visionary. We're looking at a person who believes in investing. We're looking at a person who believes in investing in others. I'm just trying to figure out why I keep getting this no. And it dawned on me. It ain't that you stop believing. You just never believed, because typically a person would say, well, we got all these gifts and talents in the family. We got these strong prayer warriors. What happened to us all coming together and saying, you know what, Makeba, baby, I don't like that idea. Why don't we go to the board table collectively, come up with a family idea so we all can get an investment and we can all feel good about it? What happened to that? And the fact that has not happened, And the fact, earlier this year, and I'm telling y'all, I am a very private type of person, and I'm not always just talking about you. I don't talk about family too much. I'm a real private person because I feel like that's not my platform is about. I'm talking about making salads, taking equestrian, you know what I mean? Going to museums, going thrifting. So I'm not really about sharing my family like that, unless it's like Christmas. It has to be of something significant. I'm not just going to be talking about family and friends. But my thing is, if you prayed about it and you're saying, I don't want to do that, but you've invested in so many other things. Okay, what happened to, like I said, going to the board table saying, well, let's do this so we can build an empire? What happened to that? And this is making me realize, earlier this year, I reached out to my family because I really don't do that. And things were said to me that really got me thinking, like deep down got me thinking, you've been holding on to that. That means when you've been seeing me, you actually been seeing me, you didn't share those moments. Now the fact that I'm coming to you about something else, you want to bring something else up. But what happened to when we were together for Christmas, when we were together for Thanksgiving? Why you can't share it then? Why I had to be at a vulnerable time when I'm coming with ideas and beautiful opportunities? Why it has to be, oh, I'm not interested. No, I don't want to do that. What have I done to make a person say, because if somebody came to me and say, Makeba, would you like to do this? Of course, I'm going to give them my undivided attention. And if I say no, I'm going to say, well, what else can I do? I'm not just going to say no and walk away. Well, what else do you have? Do you have an alternative? You know what I mean? I'm not just going to say no. And then every time I talk to you, there's either a complaint about something. There's either a lack about something. I don't get it. I'm missing this. And it's like, as family members, what happened to, we don't have to do that. We're not interested in this, but we all can probably sit together collectively and visualize something so we all can catapult. Now I'm starting to believe. Have you ever really believed in me? Have you ever believed in me? I'm going to ask that again. Did you really believe in me? When I started my first business, what did you really say? What were you really, really feeling when I started my commercial cleaning many years ago? What were you thinking? But then when you talk to people and they bring up their job, they're not happy. They bring up, I want a bigger house. So I'm supposed to settle and listen to that when I'm coming with ideas. Did you really ever believe in me? Because I'm starting to think, quietly, people have a hidden perception about you. Verbally, they put on a facade. They put on a facade. And my spirit, I'm feeling there has probably been side conversations, mockery. And let me explain when I say mockery. And this is very hurtful. So I had to get a little of this off of my chest. Okay? I had to express myself professionally, politely, and respectfully. There's someone in my family owes me. They owe me thousands of dollars. When she was down, this is very deep. I welcomed her into my world to help her. We're talking about so much damage she caused. When she left, owed me thousands of dollars. The first thing I did was I forgave her because of who and what she did. Why would I expect more after really learning what she represents? But the sad part about it, after her promising she would pay me back my money, she refused to pay me my money. But my family, because this is a cousin, they have allowed this person to come into their world as though none of this has ever happened. Now, of course, I forgave, but to show it in my face, try to keep peace, that doesn't exist. So you would rather, because I had somebody in my family, one of my matriarchs, my mother is no longer living. So, the next person would be your aunts, to tell me to forget about it. Totally forget about it. And you know what I said? I'm going to forget about it. But that doesn't mean I have to accept it. You can forgive, but that doesn't mean you have to accept it. So not only you want me to forget the thousands of dollars that I'm owed, but you want me to sit at the table with this person and y'all laugh and have fun. And I'm supposed to be involved? So what you're saying is you're giving this person permission to go to somebody else's household to do the same act. You're giving permission to let this person lie. You're giving permission. Why would you accept that as a Christian? Why would you accept that if you know you have a family member that you've known since birth? Okay? Why would you want to put that person in that position? And that goes back to what I was saying. Sometimes in life, you will learn people, they say they believe you, but do they really? And then I got to thinking, what do I have? Because I have dealt with, y'all will be surprised, I've dealt with resentment, my last relationship. I've shared this and I will continue to share with respect. I was cheated on for 4 years and clueless. Like, seriously. For 4 years. We're no longer together. I am single. And we're trying to wrap up this entrepreneur project with respect and integrity. I've dealt with resentment. And if I told y'all what he resented me for, you all would say, are you serious right now? So I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But yes, okay, I've dealt with resentment because he resented me. But I will tell you this. It was during a time I was grieving my beloved mother. I was finishing up in just college and doing all kind of stuff. The great stuff, of course. Just busy. Number 2, I've dealt with jealousy heavily. And I've been questioning that because I'm the type of girl that goes to Goodwill, for goodness sake. Okay? You know what I mean? I sit in the house and read. You don't see me riding around here in a Rolls Royce, okay? You know, when I hear people being jealous, it's for some big major things. I live a very modest, beautiful, aiming and goal. I mean, and my goal is a health and wellness type of lifestyle. So I don't get it, but that's another conversation. I have dealt with so much. I've had to deal with a lot of just forgiveness because I've been done so wrongly. And I get it. Family members, they get together, they be in cahoots together, they have side conversations. But what I don't quite understand, this is where the hurt come in at. When you know you've been working. When you know, you've been working for years. I understand I've missed birthdays. I get all of that because I've been working. I've been an entrepreneur. But now I'm like, okay, I have this courage in me to move forward with my plan. And it's like, I'm not going to go back to what I once was, or what, just working over and not being really compensated and not hiring the people at the level that I want. I get all of that. But you would think when someone sees your hard work over so many years, they would at least have enough compassion, enough love and understanding to say, my sister, I get it. I get it. And when I say sister, that is applied to any family member, right? And it's like, but you can feel the opposite. You know, it's like you feel, well, you've been living over in this expensive area. You know, well, you don't come around. You don't call. I'm like, but you know what I've been doing? I've been working. Those are the sacrifices that I made. So now that I'm not doing that, and I'm at that crossroad, I'm at that catapult, I'm at that pivot, I'm at that moment. I'm holding on like the size of mustard seed. I'm like, okay, I'm about to do this. So now it's judgment. Now it's like, oh, just get a job. It's, oh, you need to move. Oh, I'm not interested in that. But the years you seen me sacrifice was nothing? Are you trying to tell me the years, it was nothing? It's for nothing? Are you telling me all the sacrifices that I've made, the effort, that it was nothing? Oh, just up and just get a job and forget all my hard work? I get it. You don't believe in me. I get it. You don't want to invest. I get it. You don't want to collab. I get it. You don't even want to be interested in it. But you just want me to up and just get over it? How did we get how could family and friends get to a point in life where they can ignore and not honor the work? How can we get to a point and we're so caught up in our own lives where you see a person, we're not talking about, I didn't call you with club. I'm just hanging out at the club every weekend. I don't have any children, so I'm not calling you to babysit my children. I don't have any. I'm not calling you every now and then because I haven't been working. I've been working my ass off. And it's like to treat me as though just move or just get a job. Oh, and get over that they owe you thousands of dollars. That's where we are. This is where we are right now. This is where we are right now. And I feel in my heart, was there ever an authentic support system, a real belief system? Was it really there? Was it really there? Was it really authentic? Was it really authentic? And it's not that I just don't come around. It's called, I had a commercial cleaning business. It's not that I just moved to an affluent area because I'm thinking I'm bourgeois. I got tired of the commute. My banks and my other accounts were so spreaded. I felt being in the middle was more economical. It made more sense. Because to be honest, I'm trying to get a $2.5 million house. Serious. Okay. Or 5, because the houses that I'm looking at a long time ago, they're 5 million now. They're not close to get any of that right now. But you have to have vision. And I think the last 90 days for me, I had to really go deep in my soul. I'm talking about I had to go beyond the spirit. I had to go to my soul. And I had to ask for forgiveness because I had to forgive these people because I said they really don't believe in me. And I do feel side conversations are being had about me. I feel people are judging me and people are looking at me. I've had someone tell me repeatedly, they wanted to see me fail. I've had, like my business partner, like I say, I've dealt with so much. And some people may look at me and think I'm not dealing with anything. I'm just not a chronic complainer. I feel implementation and staying focused is far more important than just complaining. That's not going to get you anywhere. And so this year is a year of no, it's like an awakening for me that you got to be careful when you put your trust in man. You have to be careful, and it doesn't matter who it is. You got to be careful because you can really be let down. I understand when you start a business and you don't get a contract. I understand when you start a business, you get a contract and no one shows up to work. I understand when you get a contract, you have a contractor and they mess it up and you lose it. But what I did not understand, the loved ones, the family and friends, who you look up to, who you love, who you become vulnerable with, they can really feel another way. And I think that's where I am right now. I really feel like I have really been by myself now, looking at it for years since my mom has passed away. I feel since my mother, beautiful beloved mother, has been gone, people have really been fake around me. They have really been fraudulent. And now I feel I have to be very careful and an extreme strategist who can get close to me, because I'm really starting to feel they really don't believe in what I do and may even feel they don't love me like that. Because when you care for someone, you're going to reach out and text. I get it. My conversation is going to be about entrepreneurship and your conversation is going to be about your 9 to 5. But that does not mean we can't connect. That doesn't mean you can't call your sister in Christ and say, hey, I know you lost such and such, or I know this happened, and I know you're going through a season. How you really doing? We ain't got to go get a 5-star meal. We could have went and got ice cream. We could have just sat in a park near water and just prayed and had a conversation. It is devastating to know you can work your ass off. You can work and people can look at you with envy. They can look at you. You think you got it going on. They can look at you and feel all kind of negativity. And soon as you decide, like I said, to approach that crossroad, to step down, to change, or whatever it may be, the colors will show. They'll begin to show you how they really feel. They will. They will. And so, where I've been right now, I don't feel alone. You know what I feel? I'm starting to feel like I really don't know people that I once knew. I'm starting to feel I really don't know you. You're really a stranger to me, because the love that I once knew that I had with my mother, or what I had with real good, genuine people, they don't do that. I expect for a stranger to do that. And I remember I used to go to like a lot of business conferences, for many, many years. I was on this, having my name on a building. I was always about hiring people, y'all. I'm trying to tell you that. And now I'm just feeling so different. I'm feeling like, what is all of it for? When people don't see your greatness, when they don't really see what you do, what is it really all for? What is it? So now I'm dreaming like I've never dreamed before, because I stopped dreaming because I did the implementation. The last 10 years, all I've been doing is working. I stopped looking at homes. I stopped considering traveling. And now people are probably looking at me like, it's impossible. It was impossible when I wasn't doing it. because all I did was work. I lived a very, very different type of lifestyle because I had a commercial cleaning business. So during the night, I was out checking on accounts, cleaning accounts. During the day, I may have been doing a lot of my premium lifestyle business. Like I said, I had social work wealth. I went through that for a while, but I got so much pushback. Them social workers back in 2016, they were like millionaire. They were looking at me like I was a little off. So I said, okay, I'm not going to spend my time. I did it for a couple of years, didn't get a good return on it. Then I started Luxurious Wealth Online. I had so much fun. Some of my clients, they did not want to be seen because they may have got ready to redo their private practice or redo their pediatric center or something. So they kind of was like real kind of like quiet with the contract. But I had an amazing time with Luxurious Wealth Online. But now where I am, I'm just at a point where I get it. This is where my faith is. This is where I have to lean in with God. And I've always done that. But nobody should talk about when a person is dreaming, because I actually didn't have time to dream the last 10 years because I just been doing the implementation part of it. But the last 90 days, I'm like, I know how to become a millionaire. I know exactly the system that I have. Boom. I get that. I understand how to become a millionaire. I get it. I'm on my way to that. I'm going to work on that. But what I'm not going to stop doing moving forward is dreaming big. And since I've been doing that, I haven't been dreaming big. Like, I may see something and I'm like, then God will show me something bigger. And it's not about things being so massive. It's not about that. It's just opening your mind to bigger opportunities, stretching it, maximizing it to the fullest. And it has been so liberating. It's been so life-changing. It's been so euphoric to just have that space to dream big. Because once I'm in a position to do what I need to do, I can make my millions. I promise you all. I feel so good about becoming a millionaire. But what I failed on, what I stopped doing, I did too much of the implementation and I didn't focus on the things that I wanted. And I got so caught up in entrepreneur on a lower frequency because I was always defending myself. I was not part of a mentorship program or somebody mentoring me as an entrepreneur. So my advice, if you are an entrepreneur, put yourself around other entrepreneurs. Be mindful being around workers because they're going to have a different mindset unless they're in upper management. Because when you're in upper management, you tend to have more responsibility. You just don't have assigned tasks. So you got to wear multiple hats. And I used to tell my contractors all the time, what make a good entrepreneur, if they've been a good manager, they're going to soar. Because a manager do a lot of jobs. I'm talking about a good manager with a good position, okay? Because you can manage anything. So that's what made me so good. And I'm a good listener. I'm a social worker, and that's another part. I gotta wear a lot of hats. As a social worker, you have to be an excellent listener and a very good strategist who bring results. You're providing a service, and that's what I've been about. So becoming an entrepreneur was good for me. I just had to kind of downplay it because I was around a lot of men at first. And they weren't happy to hear me walking there saying, "Hi, my name is Makeba Williams. I graduated from Spelman College." Man, I can tell you some stories about that. So I kind of had to, remove when I would do walkthroughs at the commercial sites, I had to take off the heels and replace those with Sperry's, take off the dresses, replace those with khakis, remove my pearls. Let me tell you, I became that entrepreneur, but I also lost me in the process. And that's what I'm fighting back for. I'm walking into who I'm really designed to be, a feminine woman, a woman who is full of love and full of light. Oh, that's what I can feel it, and that's who I really am. And unfortunately, one thing about the commercial cleaning industry, it depleted a lot of that. So that's one of the reasons why I started this YouTube channel, because I really want to get back to who God and my mother, beautiful mother, created. And that's what this is all about. But I had on my mind that I have accepted that sometimes family and friends, and I'm not talking about strangers, will stop believing in you or just don't believe in you. And you still got to love them, forgive them. And it's going to hurt, because the last 90 days, it hurt me. It did. I have to be honest, you know. I'm like, but I look up to you. I look up to you. I look up to you. And all these years I've been sharing all my stories, and you know what I've been doing. And you know, it can be a little taken back when somebody say, I don't want to invest in that. I get it. I'm not talking about investing in the commercial cleaning industry. I stepped down from that. I'm talking about what I really do. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't want to do that and get you a check every month. you don't want to do, you mean to tell me you making a certain amount of money, you don't want to take this portion, do that, and then it could triple? I mean, my mindset is different. So what God is showing me is, stop looking to man. Whoever the people or person I'm supposed to meet, we're going to cross paths and we're going to shake hands. And whatever that role is, I don't know. Because it may not, who knows? I just know it's some people out there just like me. And I'm not going to wait, you know, to meet those people, because they're working and I'm working. I just feel like there is a time and space, you know, in your life where you're supposed to get up every day excited about something. You know, you giving them high fives. You like, yeah, we about to do this. And you feel good about that thing. That thing wake you up, and you know, during the night, you kind of like restless, because you're like, I'm about to make a good day. And those are the kind of people that I want to work with. You know what I mean? So my drive is just making a difference, and the other incentives come. You know, the house. I'm learning about that. You know, I'm gonna be honest. You know, last year, like towards the end of the year, I was like, I guess I won't be buying no house in America. But God has a way of bringing you back to reality. It's like, I know I'm gonna get me a house, but now I'm like, I kind of know where I want to live now. I know what kind of house I want, because I knew I wanted a house. I used to look at country clubs like all day, every day, like 10 years, 15 years ago. And like I said, I got away from that. And sure enough, now I know what kind of house I want, and I know what area, but I just ain't realized, you know, I was going to be looking at $5 million houses. It's kind of funny to me. And then, you know, you go to some communities, you like, I was looking at your community 15 years ago, and them houses cost this much, but nobody ain't pressure washing their house, cutting the grass. I'm not going to say the name of the community, but about 15 years ago, I was looking at this community, and I was so in love with this community. I used to drive through it, you know, go out of my way and drive through it. I went through that community about a month ago, and it broke my heart. I said, man, I wonder if I would have bought a house in that community, I probably would have sold it. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, God he'll show you. He will. He'll show you things. And he is showing me that I have to have a heart to forgive people, because the last 90 days, you know, I have had some rude awakening. I've had some wow, I didn't know you really felt that about my work ethics, my character, my drive, my vision, my ambition, my love. I didn't know you felt like that. I didn't know you don't even want to make no money with me. That's kind of scary, because I'm like, but I know you invested into that, and that didn't give you no return, and that they don't even have my character. They don't even have my vision. And you just gotta go through it and just say, God, I really want to forgive these people. They just didn't see you in me. At the end of the day, it's like, okay, you just ain't see God in me, and you just got to forgive and move on. But I had to just express myself. And dreaming big, if you're out there and you're starting out, I started out dreaming big and I dropped it because I got so caught in the work part of everything, the massive action, and I never treated my eyes with the things that I truly, truly wanted. And for years, I walked around saying, I just want to make a difference. And in actuality, I was doing that, but I never really looked at what I wanted. You know what I mean? I never looked at, I wanted a beautiful home. I stopped. I need to be correct and clear. I stopped looking at those things because I was so consumed with the work part of it. So I said, I'm going to dream, and I'm going to dream with love and with honesty, and I'm going to do it. And it's kind of scary sometimes because, like I said, what I've been seeing and learning, I'm like, I will tell y'all this much because I'm kind of private. When I was at Spelman, okay, we in one of the computer classes, we had to do a presentation. And I chose to do my presentation on where I wanted to live in the future. And my top 3 places, I never forget. But, you know, you had to do a PowerPoint presentation now. It just wasn't about where I wanted to live. You had to throw that technology, do like a presentation in front of the class. So I said I wanted to live in Malibu. Had never been. I had Malibu. I had Santa Barbara, California. I had Malibu, California. I had Santa Barbara and Naples in Florida. Because I've always wanted to be around mature, older people, you know what I mean? You know, who take care of their landscape. Because I come from Florida, so landscape is huge down there. You know, beautiful, clean house, beautiful, clean house, healthy trees. You know, I've always been had that type of vision. So I said Malibu, water, Santa Barbara, the houses are just, they're just beautiful. And I said Naples, Florida, because I'm from Florida, of course. Everybody's old there, but it's beautiful and it's near water. So I never really looked at Georgia real estate besides just online, like I did Malibu, of course, Santa Barbara, and Naples. I gotta tell you, people underestimate Georgia. I'm just gonna put it to you like that. In the last 90 days, I said, I can't believe I was talking about buying a $3 million home when I was at Spelman College in Malibu. And of course, that would have got me back then. That would have got me like a nice townhouse in Malibu. Santa Barbara, not so much. Santa Barbara is up there now. Now Malibu is up there too, but I'm just saying, Santa Barbara is just gorgeous. And then Naples can get you a nice condo on the water. And so it's kind of funny because I'm looking at real estate in Georgia, and it's just blowing my mind what I'm seeing. It's like, I just never knew it. So sometimes you put in a position to do one thing, but God has a way of showing you, the laugh is on me, of course, because I'm up here looking at other places, and right here where I'm at, it's just breathtaking. You have to get with a realtor and figure this out, but I'm just going to leave it at that right there, that part right there. But I'm just to a point where I'm going to be honest. I'm working hard. I am. I stepped down, and I'm trying to keep peace with my business partner. Some days we're good at it, and some days it's like, is it worth it? So I'm praying that we can get this project done so we both can, be highly compensated, keep God first, and we do our own thing, you know what I mean? And then I got my stuff that I'm gradually getting back to, that I kind of put to the side, especially when COVID hit. I'm like, okay, God, I'm ready to really just do me. You know what I mean? I'm ready to get back into that momentum and just create and have fun. I used to have so much fun, and it's like I just want to get back to that. But in the meantime, I got hit with the reality of people not believing in you, or just never did. And I think that kind of like took me, it just kind of had me sit down for a minute to assess who I really am. Like I was questioning my character. I'm like, okay, what kind of person am I? I'm a good person. You know what I mean? I want to make a difference. You know, I love people. And I'm like, where's this energy is coming from? Why is it so aggressive? You know what I mean? And then when you know you're doing something good, it's like other forces would try to attempt, and then that's where your life stressors come in. And I'm getting into real coaching and social work stuff, so I'm gonna try to scale back a little bit. But I just feel like if you are in my position, you know, keep God first. You know what I mean? Read your Bible, find something. You know, like I try to listen. I'm gonna tell y'all who I love listening to. And you gotta find that one person. You gotta find that one person. They're gonna come in like a different way. Like I used to listen to You Are Creators for affirmations, and then one day I woke up and I said, okay, it's time for me to hear my voice. It's time for me to tell myself I am a millionaire. You know what I mean? He's amazing at that. But then I needed something, you know, besides, you know, you go to church and listen to a pastor and things like that. I needed something else. I felt like I was missing something. And y'all will be amazed at who I listen to, and they are good at interviews and motivation. As Tyler Perry. I listen to him, and I don't follow him on social media. I go to like YouTube and try to find interviews, because I'm not on social media like that. On social media, I'm only doing business, and eventually I'm only on YouTube. Really, I'm not even really active on Instagram now. I was getting on TikTok just for like laughter and see the latest of the greatest, what they sell. And I was on TikTok for those reasons, but I'm not really active on social media. I'm not doing reels. I'm not posting. So I have to find Tyler Perry through YouTube, and I try to filter and go through and find them interviews. And I got creative, y'all, with this. I went and got an audio recorder and recorded him, and I try to play it just over and over, because he has that spirit. I'm telling you, he has the spirit to really uplift you. So I'm not talking about movies are really good. I'm not talking, see, the movie's going to be different, but that voice is anointed. So I just listen to him, and I try to play it over and over and over. So when I go on YouTube, I put his name in just to look for like interviews and stuff. And then you got people that can get creative now. You know, you got to make sure it's Tyler Perry, because they'll swipe his stuff, or AI. You got AI out there too, so you got to make sure it's him interviewing or whatever it is. So he is one person that I just keep listening to over and over, and I'm trying to feed my spirit that, because I'm telling you, you got to find those things that's going to keep you elevated. Because when you wake up every day, you go out there, you're reminded, and it try to keep you suppressed, and then you go into the different emotions and feelings, and that's why you got to keep yourself full. So one thing I do at night, besides praying and doing other things like journaling, I put his video, I put the audio on, and I just let it play while I'm sleeping. And I have noticed a major difference in my life since I have been listening to his motivation. Now, hopefully he keeps it going. We're talking about a director of a studio. We're talking about a person who is a father. He's busy, you know. He has staff of 500 from my understanding. Plenty shows, different networks. So him just creating audios, I don't know how successful that's going to be. But whatever I find and it's good, I play Tyler Perry over and over while I'm sleeping. And I'm trying to get a couple of, I'm trying to sneak them other ones in for during the day. So my advice to you, if you can find, you know, you don't need a lot of people to listen to. If you could just find that one person, and due to the fact I am not in a relationship, number one. Also, I haven't been physically going to a church, but I am a member of a church. You got to have that covering. And so, no, Tyler Perry is not my pastor, but I put him in that category. So you got to have somebody you can go to the opposite, and you can just listen. And he has encouraging words, great advice. He gives scripture. So that's what I've been doing. in terms of that. So my advice for you to go find one person. If it's two, that's fine. Don't find many. You don't need many, because what tends to happen when you have many, you're going to start getting different type of advice, and it can conflict with your practices and beliefs. So you got to find that one person. And to me, he is really good at it. And I definitely call him a pastor to me. He did go to school for it. So I just listen to him. That's one thing I do, besides reading my Bible and still strategizing my process. And God has already given me my divine download. I have enough experience now to know how to become this multimillionaire. I'm not afraid anymore to talk about it. Now, I'm not going to give the strategy. I'm not going to give the process, but I feel good about what I need to do. I think I've had enough experience. I can see it. I just need to keep looking up and keep doing what I'm supposed to do. And I love my family, because I don't want nobody to think I don't. And friends, I was just hurt, and I need to be vulnerable and transparent about that they didn't see my attributes. They didn't see who I really was. You get what I'm saying? So, and I think that's what kind of hurt me. But yeah, get your Bible, pray, do your journaling, but also find that one person who can pour into your spirit, and look at your plan every day. What we tend to do, we plan and we put it to the side. And I'm gonna tell y'all what I don't like, and I think it can be bad sometimes when they say your 5-year plan. To me, I don't think that's good, because when people create a 5-year plan, they put it up unless they're currently trying to get funding. They're not getting funding. They're not looking at it. To me, people should have a 5-year plan, but they also should have a 30-day plan, a 90-day plan, a 6-month plan, a year, and so forth. So you can still look at it, because if you look at it and you don't get that funding, you're going to put it to the side and you're going to just forget about it unless it comes back up. But to me, when you're growing a company, you got to keep working on it. You can't just put that up. And to me also, while you're asking for funding, because I've been there, create your own. And that's what I did for my commercial cleaning business. Y'all will be surprised. I started my commercial cleaning business. You want to know how I came up with that $7,000? It's going to blow your mind. Because when I was at Spelman College, I got some good return back. Oh yes. I got scholarship money and graduation money. I saved for 2 years. I took my $7,000 and invested into my commercial cleaning business. That's why I was able to do it. And that led me to have some of the most phenomenal accounts that a person could ever have. So where I am right now, I'm not going to say it's going to take me 2 years to do what I got to do now. Not this time around. Yeah, no. You know what I mean? But this time around, I don't think I'm going to spend a lot of time asking, do you want to collaborate? I'm not going to spend a lot of time saying, do you want to invest? I'm not going to spend a lot of time asking for anything, for nothing. I'm going to spend more time on what the service or the product is, and that is it. And whoever is in my space and God lead them, they will come to me. Okay. But me just going out to people, I'm not doing that again, because the same people that I went to for so many years, you would think they would say, I want to help you keep that fire going. I see your love for this. I see the change. I see how you can make a difference. It's not lit. It's not lit. So that goes back to what I was saying earlier. It's like, okay, why you stop believing, or did you ever believe, and do you really love me? You know what I mean? So I'm good. I'm at peace right now. I'm just going to continue to implement, and I wanted to document this video. Sometimes you got to get a little transparent. You got to let your feelings show with respect and love, so you can go back and say, I remember that. Now, I'm not talking about just make a video just to complain or just talk about people, exploit people. No, we're not doing that. But this video was needed for therapeutic reasons. It was needed so I can hear myself and it was needed. So when God blessed me and positioned me to do what I am called to do, my life assignment, I can go back and say it was definitely, I can go back and say it was definitely God. I can go back and say it because I've never done a video like this before. You know what I mean? So this video can be that opportunity for me to say, I remember when I was hurt and I forgave my family. But I will tell you this, if it was the opposite, I would do whatever I could. I would, because I would say, you know what, Makeba, I would say, I might not have the money, but I'm going to help you because I'm pretty sure you one of the chosen ones. So I want to be a part of the rewards when they come through, when they flow, when they flow through. You know what I mean? I don't understand why we as people sometimes don't want to invest into others. And it does not necessarily have to be money. It can be your time. It can be your creativity. It could just be a word of advice. If I had the opportunity before I became an entrepreneur to have access to a person like me, oh my goodness. You know, I've been around some great people. I agree. But to have the knowledge that I have, if I could have had someone like I did, like I said, I had a relative. She was working at a restaurant. I was with a potential client. This is a funny story, but it's real. And so we went to go talk about something. And when we walked in, I was like, that girl looks familiar. Come to find out, that person was a relative of mine that I hadn't seen in years. And I took the risk and invested into my cousin. But it wasn't necessarily me investing into her. I was just showing her. It just happened to turn out sour. But you have to forgive people. And that's what I did. But then I went through this phase earlier this year saying, well, where is my rescue? Nobody's here to rescue anybody. Put it in God's hand, but you got to do the work. So, but it's just kind of funny because that's what I've been doing all my life. You know, I'm a social worker. It's like, where's my social worker? I'm like, where's my social worker? I'm like, where's the person who come across me and say, you know what, you're Myra's daughter. You know, Myra was a wonderful woman. You know what she meant? She did a lot. You know what? I like your idea. Or where is my person to come and say, you know, you've been on my mind. I've purchased the Falcons season ticket. I'll never forget this. And someone that I knew, I gave them the season pass because he had worked. This was somebody I knew a long time ago. This is like years ago. And because he had told me he was going to be one of my clients. Crickets. That's why I said, it's like, where the people that I went above and beyond for, where are they? It's like, okay, God, I get it. I get it. You want me to stop looking at man and you just want me to look up and keep doing my work. And the chosen people would come through and whatever it is that had happened. So I had to go through this process. So that's how I know I'm catapulting, because you're going to go through different phases. I've gone through so many different phases as an entrepreneur. But see, I took this personal because I went to family and friends. You don't see me creating a GoFundMe. You don't see me out here begging for money. I have not gone to not one bank. And let me explain why. Because I want to see my family and friends catapult like me too. They deserve that. But you learn, you know what I mean? You learn, and you just have to forgive. I'm not going to forget, but you have to forgive and move on. Hopefully this video was for a woman or a man, or even for like a group of people or the chosens, that you can take something from this and learn from this video. Hopefully this video can touch you and allow you to move forward, because you may be in my position as well. And you're going to question yourself. You're going to say, did they not see my work? Did they not see me do this, do that, do so many things? And it's like they want you to erase your work. And you got to forgive and say, you know what? I understand. You just don't see God in me. That's all you got to say, because that's what I said. Okay, you just don't see God in this. That's all. You do not see God in this. And just let it go. Just let it fly. Just let it go. Because people are going to judge. Oh, do that. Judging is a problem. They are going to mock. They're going to compare themselves. It's called comparaitis. They are going to secretly be envy. You're going to go through it. You just got to forgive them. And that's what I have done. I had to do that. I had to get on my knees and say, God, I forgive them because they just don't see you. And it's not about the money. It's just about the support. It's about the gifts and talents. Nobody ain't trying to build no empire. I guess I'm the only one. Anyway, this video has been healthy for me. It's been good. And it is my hope and prayer that you hear the transparency and you hear the vulnerability with lack of judgment and more understanding. So I'm going to do a testimony video. Whatever God has for me as I move forward, it's going to be a video on how this turned out, because I truly want to make a difference. That's what this is all about. Anyway, much love.